This last year, I made $285,000 from my small YouTube channel, which is pretty crazy, because if you had told me this 5 years ago, I would not have believed you. I had a bigger channel with 300,000 subscribers called Thomas Alex Norman, and I was making 30 to 70,000 a year through that channel. That was with selling online courses, taking sponsorships, the whole shebang. Fast forward, and now I have 30,000 subscribers on a much smaller channel. I'm making 285,000 a year, which is 4 times the income with a 10 times smaller channel. In this video, I can finally answer the question, why would you leave this old channel with lots of subscribers only to make a tiny channel with tinier views? What are you doing? The reason I've done it was to build the right audience and not the wrong audience. So we can split up this income into 4 income streams that I made in 2025 from this channel. 1,000 from one affiliate sale, 2,322 from AdSense, so you can sort of guess how many views I'm getting, not very many. My high ticket program brought in $138,743, and my low ticket program brought in $143,576. So in this video, I want to go over how I built that right audience, also how I built the income streams, and also just worth mentioning, I did this without slaving away working like 16-hour days. So I was doing quite a lot of inner work last year that took up quite a lot of my time, doing a somatic coaching certification, doing some therapy. I also just in general had very limited time because I'm a new dad. I've got a young daughter who's like a year and 4 months. I made quite a lot of progress in my fitness as well. So just to give you a bit of context, I wasn't like full on slaving away at this. Having said all that, I'm not pretending here to have all of my shit together. Half the time it felt like I had no idea what I'm doing. And so when I sort of look back on my numbers and general life, I was sort of like, damn, this has been a good year. It sometimes didn't felt like that. So let's go over building the right audience. So there are 2 schools of thought here. One is going niche, which is what I did. And then the other is going broad, which is what most people do. And it was what I was doing, which was what I was doing. So broad, I want to help these 3 to 5 different people do these 3 to 5 different things. This is such a classic. This is what I was doing before. I help entrepreneurs, professionals, inspiring YouTubers speak on camera confidently and authentically. I also help people make travel videos, like just help people make travel videos, and help creatives be more productive. Niche looks like I want to help this one person do this one thing. And that's what I decided to do. I help entrepreneurs speak on camera with confidence and authenticity. How I built the right audience always comes down to the who, the how, and the what. Who, picking one person with one problem. So this is your ideal customer profile. This dictates your content, your voice, your channel. It's like just talk to that person and position all of your content for that person. So that's the who, that's the strategy in like a 1-page nutshell. The what is what you say in your videos and in which order. So you've got your intro, your points, and your call to action. Again, just talk to your ideal customer, position all of this content within your videos for your ideal customer. By the way, if you want to learn how to plan your videos to get these kind of results, my free YouTube video planning template is in the description. You can pick that up. I've made this very strategic, so it'll save you time whilst planning videos and make sure those videos are effective in actually growing your business. Now the how is how you say your what and how you present it. It's your sort of tone of voice. It's your mannerisms. It's your presenting. And this really all falls into place when you just, again, talk to your ideal customer and position all of the content for your ideal customer. This just comes naturally when you're very clear on who you're talking to. For example, I've even got somebody in my mind who I'm talking to, like one of my clients. I'm just talking to that person. I'm not talking to anyone else, which means there's so much less confusion. I'm not like, will this person understand it? But what if this person's a beginner, if this person's advanced? Or what will this expert think of me who's making more money? I was like, I'm just talking to this person, that's it. So the big concern with going niche and making like a smaller channel is that it can be less enjoyable. However, I found that there's enjoyment in the depth and the challenge that comes with going niche. So when you go niche, it's like you can't just make videos about whatever you want anymore. You're making videos for your ideal customer about that specific topic. But within that, there is a creative limitation, which I quite enjoy. So when I used to teach filmmaking, I always used to teach this concept. You can either have no creative limitation, which is like, imagine you can make any travel film that you want. So you can have a private jet to go to any destination, any camera you wanted, or any film production crew that you wanted. Like, which film would you make? And it's like, oh my God, that's so overwhelming. But what if I said, well, you can only go to this specific location, you have 24 hours to do it, and you're only doing it with this one person. Well, suddenly you're in that location and your brain is firing on all cylinders to be like, how can I solve this challenge? This is fun, this is engaging. It's kind of the same thing with YouTube. If you pick one niche with one person, solve one problem, you really have to get very creative, and it creates a whole load of depth and expertise because you're going deeper on your subject, which eventually makes you a thought leader in your niche. So let's break down these income streams, ignoring affiliates and AdSense, obviously. So the low ticket brought in 143,000. This is a 30-day challenge product. In my case, it's a 30-day talking to camera challenge with a couple of bump offers that appear at checkout. So we've got 485 new members at this last year, which is awesome. And if you're in a position where you're like, cool, I want to make a low ticket offer, how do you do that? Well, here are the literal steps. Here's like the 101. You got to build your YouTube, so building the right audience. So build your email list, so giving out free lead magnets, getting people's emails. Then survey that list and that audience and make sure that you're making something that they want. So send out a survey that's like, what are you stuck on right now? Or what do you think about this idea? And gauge the response. Then make a beta program. So I made a beta 30-day talking to camera challenge, got like 40 people in. I ran it and I realized that this is crazy. This is like the most engaged online community I've ever seen. It was like 40 people posting videos every day and commenting on each other's videos like crazy, and they were getting crazy results based on the things that I was teaching. So I was like, this is gold, let's go. Then I remade the program and made it with all the bells and whistles, made it really professional and slick. And then I promote that through my emails and sometimes on my YouTube videos. That's it, it's that simple. If you're gonna do a low ticket course, do it really well and make it really good and transformational. Because if you can get people amazing results, then they're gonna upsell into your other stuff, which is exactly what happens. So this is my high ticket, and you will see, it's the natural speaking system, 38 new members. So the 101 to make a high ticket is actually exactly the same as the low ticket. You go through all of those same steps, except there's a lot more depth, it's a lot bigger, and you have to do extra things like sales calls, either yourself or outsourcing and finding a system to do that. So you're gonna be showing up on group calls and guiding people through stuff most likely. There's extra systems to create more value that you're giving to the people. There's support either through yourself or a team. So there's other stuff that you need to manage. It is more complex and it takes a lot more time. And it is essentially a choice. You know, this is much more scalable in the long run. This is just the first year I did it, but it really depends on what you want. So the key to make a high ticket working is to make it amazing. So you can see some of these results here. This isn't like a shortcut, get rich quick thing. This is after years of developing expertise, years of giving feedback, becoming more of an expert myself so I can actually get these results to people. And that's the kind of commitment you need to actually make this work in the long run. There's so many people doing really bad high ticket programs that don't get results, and it puts a bad name in the whole industry. And so people are very skeptical. And the only way to really build trust is to make an amazing program. And you have to be committed to it. I'm not gonna lie, it was pretty hard doing it, but I'm glad I did, and we'll get into that in just a sec. So here's the life of a full-time creator / entrepreneur. This is me in my office. This is where I spend like 6-7 hours a day. I don't wanna say grinding away. Sometimes it feels like grinding, other times it's fun. Sort of depends on the day. This is how I spend most of my time ideally. So making YouTube videos, planning, filming, editing, managing my main program, doing the calls, trying to improve it, maybe remaking it, support, admin stuff. So like team, finance, miscellaneous. I don't have a big team at all. I only work with like 1 or 2 people who work on a part-time basis. But you know, communicating with them and coordinating. And then marketing stuff. So that's email, website, launches, promos, that kind of thing. So how that actually maps out into a week in the life. This is sort of like a perfect week in the life. It's often way more messy than this, but I'll do like work for my high ticket program on the Monday, take a call. Tuesday I might plan a video. Wednesday I'll shoot and film that video. Thursday I'll do more work on my program, support and stuff, do another call. And then Friday I'll work on maybe some marketing, some emails, general business and admin stuff. As I said, it's usually way more messy than that, but it's kind of what I try and stick to. Here are some reality checks, because this ain't all shiny. My YouTube views and sales, my emotions just ride them. That's just how it is. And I think it is like that for most people. I've been close to quitting this year like 5 times, and I'll show you exactly why. So this is my analytics for this year from my YouTube channel. And as you can see, it looks pretty good. Like it's all in the green. There's lots of growth spikes, 20,000 new subscribers. It's way better than last year, which is amazing. It looks amazing on the surface. So you might be like, why are you close to quitting? Like your YouTube's doing great. Well, the thing is, I felt great on these big spikes. So for a couple of weeks, I'm like, everything's growing. This is going great. Business is clean sailing. My YouTube's going great. I'm building my brand. This is awesome. You see all these little icons down here? These are all videos that I posted, right? And all the videos that didn't get big spikes in views, if you actually look on the dashboard, they're all like 8 out of 10 or 9 out of 10 or 10 out of 10. And whenever that happens, like all of the YouTube buttons are pointing downwards, everything's gray, nothing's green. And it felt like my business was dying, basically. And I would love somebody, like some psychologist or something, to do some research on what happens in creators' brains when they post a video and it goes to like 9 out of 10 or 8 out of 10 or something. Because for me, there's like, it's like hormonal. Like my dopamine, I can just feel it, it like crashes. I lose motivation, and I have like some systems and stuff to get myself back in place. But like I definitely take a hit like every time. And I've been doing this for years now. So you would think like I'm sort of seasoned and would like weather it out, which I kind of do, but it still doesn't stop that little roller coaster going on. So that's a reality check of just doing YouTube in general, I think. I still really enjoy it in general, and I love my business especially, but I would love to come up with a system to fix this roller coaster, and I wonder if that's even possible. Reality check 2. I didn't know what I was doing. I just had no idea what I was doing for most of the year, and that's because the high ticket stuff was all new. In January, I was like, should I do a high ticket? I don't know, it sounds really scary. I don't know if I can charge that much. I don't know if XYZ, I don't know. And then basically just stayed like that the whole year. Like, I don't know what I'm doing. But I actually think that is the key to this year being successful. It was just being out of my comfort zone and just staying there for basically the whole year. And this quote of the decade, I say it's the decade because I actually wrote this on a vision board that I made for myself when I was like 21. I am always doing that which I cannot do in order that I may learn how to do it. Pablo Picasso. I've kind of lived my life with this quote at the forefront of my mind, and it has paid dividends. It's an amazing quote, and it's one of those quotes that you can really look over for a while and get new meanings from it, new sort of depth of meanings. But it basically is saying just do stuff that you can't do. That's how you get good at it, which entails a lot of stuff like beginner learning pains, sitting with discomfort, getting out of your comfort zone, all of the, push yourself, self-help, whatever, sort of all encapsulated in this very simple quote. Now let's get onto some life stuff. So some behind the scenes. So dad life, I simply don't have free time. I just don't have free time. It's been a crazy transition. Like any dads or mums out there relate to this. Like before I thought I was like really busy, and then I had a kid and my time just halved. And it means that I can't ride these energetic waves of sort of being like, oh man, I'm feeling inspired on the weekend. I'm gonna do some like extra work to sort of catch up on the weeks. Like, nope, don't get that. Or in the evenings, it's like, oh, I'm gonna relax and play guitar, which is gonna like creatively sort of reset myself so I can show up to tomorrow feeling refreshed. Like, nope, can't do that. So you just have this, what feels like a sort of increasingly small window to get work done in the day, especially working from home. But having said that, it's forced me to be more productive than ever because I don't have free time, I just have to fill my working hours with the most high leverage tasks possible, and anything else like doesn't make the cut. And also it's just like really wholesome, obviously. It's like we try and get out into nature as much as we can. And that's how we like to reset, at least when the weather's good, on the weekends. My inner journey. Yeah, I would put some photos here, but I guess the photos that reflect one's inner journey is just like pictures of you crying, which I don't have any pictures of, luckily. Basically I started this somatic coaching program, which involves a lot of inner work. I started it in like June. It's going to take all of this year as well to become a certified somatic coach, which is I want to step up my offering and be able to create bigger and deeper transformation within my clients. So part of that is going on a deep journey myself, which has been very rewarding and challenging, and also doing some therapy as well, which is sort of going pretty deep. Also fitness, I made some gains. So this is quite funny. Look at this picture, right? Then look at this picture. They're actually more or less the same day. This isn't a before and after. This is just me with no pump. This is me with a pump. So the fitness industry is a lie. People just take pictures like on the right and then just don't share what they actually look like any of the rest of the time, which is quite funny. But I'm just showing you this to show I've stayed in shape this year, and I've got in better shape than I was last year. Just working out twice a week, which has been a bit of a game changer for me. Again, it's like this dad life. I can't just be in the gym or in the calisthenics park like 5 times a week, chilling out, working out, which is like what I used to. used to do, I can only work out twice a week. And I think that focus has allowed me to stay more consistent rather than what I used to do is sort of 3 months intense workout and then sort of stop for a while. This is like just twice a week for the whole year, and sort of by doing less, I've actually got in better shape, which has been really cool. And now I want to leave you with a mindset that's changed everything for me from this book, 10x is easier than 2x. And the context here is that in 2024, I made around 175,000, more or less. And in 2025, so this year, I wanted to make $1 million. I set a goal. And isn't that funny? Because the reality was I made $285,000. So you can look at that, and I can look at that and be like, man, I fell so far short of that goal. That's a lot to feel bad about or disappointed about, right? And there's two ways of looking at it. One way is the gain. So I've added, what is that, like 60%? I made 60% more money this year than last year, and it's been a great year in so many different areas of my life. And the other way to look at it is the gap, and have your mind on the horizon the whole time, this horizon that you never reach. To be like, I need to set bigger goals further away and that I just never reach, and I just constantly feel disillusioned and unmotivated because I can't reach those goals. And when you start spending more time mentally in the gain, like what I'm doing right now, and being like, this year has been so much better than last year, and just sort of living in that space, it actually does amazing things to your brain. So the key idea here is that when you live in the gain, you experience confidence, clarity, gratitude, and continual progress. Like that is your reality. If you just compare where you are now to where you are before, the gain fuels courage, whereas the gap, so comparing yourself now to where you want to be, it fuels discouragement. So people who measure their progress in the gain are far more likely to actually take bigger risks and create bigger results. And that's a key lesson that I've learned this year. And I feel a lot more happy because of it. Now, sort of zooming into this gain, right, between last year and this year, also, in that year, I've built a high-ticket program and I've laid the foundation to scale. And I think, it's just testing your hypotheses, that's a word, against reality. Because my hypothesis was, right, I can go to 1 million this year. I'm gonna make a high ticket and scale it, and then I'm gonna get to 1 million. And instead, I'm like, well, I built my high ticket. I've done a couple of iterations on it. I've got loads of amazing case studies and results. Now I've got the foundations to scale next year. And so this year was like a transition year into what hopefully next year is gonna be an even bigger and better year. And that's great. That's like living in the gain. That's not living in the gap and being like, oh, I didn't achieve that. I'm gonna feel bad about it. So I hope this gave you an insight into being a creator and entrepreneur. It feels pretty vulnerable putting numbers out there, etc. I haven't really done this before, but I figured it would be helpful because, in the spirit of transparency, you can just see what I made, how I made it, and I hope that helps you in some way on your own journey. So stay connected, speak very soon. Bye-bye.